Hola, bon dia. Carl Munson here from expatsportugal.com. Are you a premium member yet? Please join us for a bunch, what is it people say? A bunch of goodies over there on expatsportugal.com. 47 euros for an entire year. And I know that some people who use the services of the wonderful Gilda Pereira, who was with us this morning with the visa update, recoup their entire outlay by getting a discount on her services, which may not be useful if you're already here. I've got a different message for those of you who are already here. You still get a lot of benefits if you are a premium member of expatsportugal.com, not just working with Gilda. A whole load of stuff, a whole bunch of stuff in the business directory and other perks and benefits. But for those of you who've been here for a while, can you help me with the weather? And I was thinking this morning, I've been out and about with the dogs this morning. Getting into a nice routine of that, out with Jimmy and Peggy. Just realized I have a dog called Peggy, and one of my correspondents early this morning, Peggy, assuming that I get up anytime sooner than 5 to 9 in the mornings. You did send me some beautiful pictures, Peggy. I won't be making you blush by sharing them without your permission. And this applies to anybody who wants to send me pictures to articulate what the weather is like in their part of Portugal. Why not do that? Very easy to do that. Look, I'm on WhatsApp, which has revolutionized communication, notwithstanding its connection to Facebook and the ire that causes in people. But 913-590-303 for a very convenient way to send me a picture of where you are in Portugal to tell us what the weather is like. And my own contribution to that this morning, Peggy, yeah, I know, Peggy, you got sun, and when I sent you this picture of my valley this morning out with the dogs, you can see it's cloudy. A little bit hazy and cloudy. I was photographing. Sounds like I'm making excuses now, doesn't it? Photographing directly into the sun, but wanted to show Peggy that it wasn't clear blue skies like it is in the Algarve from the pictures she sent me. But it's beautiful, a dramatic day here inland from the Silver Coast near Caldas de Rainha, and very beautiful. Little peek over the hedge there in a hedgerow across the vast valley of mainly apple and pear growing. And my other picture to share with you this morning are the apples that are now on the trees. Look at these little fellas here. It's fragrant already, absolutely beautiful in the orchard, surrounded here, wall to wall, forest to forest orchards here on every hillside that you see in this part of the Silver Coast inland here. And the apples, I don't know, they're looking like the size of a plum at the moment. They smell beautiful. And there are going to be millions of them. There are going to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of them on the trees. So it's smelling beautiful. Please send me your pictures to share your part of Portugal and to give us an idea of what the weather's like in your part of the world. Normally Consumer Tuesday here on the Good Morning Portugal show from Expats Portugal, where we talk about, might talk about banking, we might talk about business, we might talk about mobile phones, all sorts of things, from that consumer angle. But I guess in the largest sense, the consumer angle is how we're being affected as citizens by the continued pandemic measures, controls, whatever you want to call them, for easing us back into some sort of normality, which I think growing numbers of people are recognizing. No, it's not going back. The elastic band is stretched beyond its elastic limit. Isn't that what we learned in physics at school? Let's hope we can be part of co-creating something rather wonderful in the wake of COVID-19, or I don't know. We're going to learn to live with it, aren't we? We're going to learn to live with it once we're past its worst effects, hopefully. And what might that look like? Always open to that question. What's it looking like where you're living? And post-pandemic is not a good phrase to use, is it? Is it learning to, how is it going to be learning to live with this additional virus in the mix of humanity and everyday life once its worst effects are over. But I want to report to you today what the Portugal leadership have been saying to Spain, who want everybody tested at the border, the land border, and what the Portuguese PMs has been saying to the British government. Usually a very cordial relationship between the British and Portuguese governments, dating back, don't you know, to the Treaty of Windsor. Is it 1366? People like Pete Bleach will tell me if I've got the date right on that. And it's interesting how, and that's why I've called today's show the Portuguese pandemic pushback, because I think Portugal is standing its ground rather admirably and being very practical. And I've also got some information to share with you about what's happening, just to remind you what's happening from the 14th and the 28th. These are key dates in the Portuguese diary, not social diary in that sense of us going out. It's the season, not that kind of social diary, but the diary for the country, how the country is reopening, as I say, learning to live with this virus after its worst effects, hopefully, are behind us. And those key dates are let me see, what are those key dates? The 14th of June and the 28th of June. So just less than a week away, some new changes, and then 28th, more changes. Phase 2 is the 28th until August the 31st. But how remiss of me not to be attending to your comments. So many people are saying hello this morning, and I thank you for that. It's a absolutely wonderful part of the show. One comment that did come in overnight, following a comment I made yesterday, was Kia saying, "Bon dia, Carl. Yes, please talk about remote work companies or remote work / companies and types of small businesses that may be needed, wanted in Portugal." That's part of the worst wave era. I'm trying to avoid using the phrase post-pandemic. I guess, yeah, that is fair to say, isn't it, post-pandemic? Because pandemic does refer to the intensity. So, yeah, okay, let's use post-pandemic. And post-pandemic life in Portugal, people coming here to work, needing work, you know, the economy relies on it to keep those wheels turning, keep the money flowing. And it was interesting yesterday to know that some people, yes, indeed, wanted to know about the idea of working from home. And I think more specifically, what sort of opportunities they might be. If you are a company offering such opportunities, and I'd prefer to veer away from those companies, you know, where you get people in Facebook groups saying, "Hey, want to earn £1 million by the end of the day, paid in cash, just using your mobile phone, working from home? PM me." Those people need not apply, because you know, I know it's probably a vast exaggeration of some sort of money that can be earned. But if you want to share a way of working from home, please, by all means, let's do that. Let's talk about it on a Tuesday, well, any time of the week, or on the forum at expatsportugal.com. But, you know, people are going to be looking for work without a doubt. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real in those conversations. And if you have a realistic opportunity, or even an idea, you know, we have the Cockerel's Coop, of course, where we assess ideas and put them out to the hive mind here. And ideas can get better, can't they? They can get worse. It's true. You can get killed by committee. It's absolutely true. But, you know, airing and sharing one's ideas without giving away your copyright and all that sort of stuff and your IP could be quite useful. Run your idea past the community here. So, yeah, working from home, please. If you have such an opportunity, or you're looking and you have skills to share, why not share them in our forum? Great place to look for work among people who are already established here. Over 8,500 people registered on our forum and members of our site, expatsportugal.com. Okay, thanks for that, Kia. Let's go to the live comments coming in this morning, see how everyone's doing. Gemini Bradshaw, I'm doing great. Mrs. Emma's made me a delicious coffee. Good start. I normally make myself a cup of tea. I'm delighted to be made a cup of coffee this morning. A Mare de Lait, homemade by Mrs. M, with a bit of honey in, just so you know. That is quite specific, isn't it? Possibly a little bit too much information there. Good morning, everyone, from Gemini Bradshaw. Good morning to you, Gemini. I was accused yesterday. Is it an accusation? It was observed that I may have a lot of Gemini in my chart, which sparked a conversation. Great to have made your acquaintance, Sarah, possibly Sarah, and Mrs. M, talking late into the night about astrology last night. Jacqueline CDM, Bon dia, the Silver Coast. What is that, Jacqueline? What is that in Portuguese, the Silver Coast? I wonder. And of course, Silver Coast because of its mistiness, right? Or is it because of the hair color of many people who live there? I don't know. And maybe I'm in trouble saying things like that. Stephen Wells, born here to you, Stephen. How are you doing, mate? Mordazam is here as well with a good morning. How are you? Baltimore. Let's go to Baltimore. Jim White is there in Baltimore, fan of Gilda, who was with me yesterday. Your valley looks like mine. Ooh, missus, says Jacqueline CDM. These valleys around here are beautiful, aren't they, Jacqueline? And there are so many of them. You know, you think to yourself, I'll just drive across that valley, have a quick look. Hour later, you haven't you're winding about, lost in the valleys. Is your valley peppered with orchards as well? Beautiful sight to see, isn't it? Especially this time of year, all coming alive, very fragrant as well. Let us know more, Jacqueline CDM. Bon dia alegria. Only weather expression I can think of is from the fast show Scorgio in Fundao this morning. Cheers, Pete. Thank you for that. Great to be in touch with you earlier this morning as well. Ooh, what an awesome hole. All will be revealed. I want your country for business. All of it, Maud. Okay, we're open for business for sure. I think Portugal is, notwithstanding some of the bureaucracy, and you know, you get that everywhere, of course. But I think, you know, the Portuguese government is open for business, and there are a few more tweaks it could make to make business a little bit more streamlined. And you know, that's being attended to for sure. But Maud, that's quite a claim. Got anything more specific in mind? It's beautiful in the Algarve, very hot already, too hot, in fact. You see, there you go. That's us. That's us. Tourists, expats, human beings, isn't it? Oh, I wish the sun would come. It's too hot. It's too cold. And all this rain and wind. Can't wait for the sun. Oh, the sun's here. It's too hot. Is that a photo that's come through to me on WhatsApp? Let me just have a quick look there. Actually, I need to give you the number again, don't I? For that. So let me just put that banner up as well. Just one more time. 913-590-303. And of course, WhatsApp has that wonderful feature on it, doesn't it? I press the microphone button down, record a message. Carl, listening to your show this morning. What an utter load of codswallop you talk. This is what you should be doing on your show. That's, you know, messages of that kind and praise and encouragement. Gratefully received as well. So too hot in the Algarve, it would seem. Always interesting, says Tony Bramley. I wonder what that is. What the weather? That's for sure. Jim McDonald, bon dia from the Rhine Valley. Hey, Jim, how are you? Are you healing well? I hope you are. Things are opening up wider here now, hoping that we don't have to go back into any kind of lockdown again. Yeah, in Britain, I mean, they're talking about adding. It was going to be the solstice celebration, wasn't it? Can you imagine? You know, all the folks, all the usual folks at Stonehenge, plus thousands more celebrating freedom with their kit off in the summer solstice. Yay! But no, 2 extra weeks by the look of it, maybe 4. It's been pushed back or pushed down the road a little bit more, I think, in the UK. A lot of fear around. Indeed, 9th of May, 1386. So I was 20 years out. I think you'd give me that. Lovely bit of trivia. Ooh, who doesn't love a lovely bit of trivia? The Treaty of Windsor. It's a lovely moment in history, isn't it, Pete? And, you know, I'll read the story in a minute about how Portugal has responded to Britain's rather irrational shifting of Portugal from its green to amber list. Greetings from São Rafael, a super day here in down there in the Algarve with Paul. Big fan of the Algarve, in case you hadn't noticed. How's the house hunting going, Paul? Bon dia. Fiona's here as well. Lovely to see the things you're growing and selling, Fiona. You're selling tobacco plants for real? And are they tobacco plants? You know, could you, if you're the sort of expat who's got themselves a rocking chair and a balcony and a gun, and you sit there, could you supply the chewing tobacco? I wonder, Fiona, let us know. Hola, bon dia to Australia this morning from Dr. 3W79. It's a different way of saying that every day. Incoming. You must have heard that, right? Oh, no. Yes, no. I think we do have a photo in. Okay, excellent. I have a picture in from Ericeira, which I can very easily add to the montage of incomings this morning. Thank you very much, Colin. We'll pop that up in just a moment. He's telling me no physio today, so a lovely photo from his balcony. We'll pop that in just a mo. That's fantastic. Thank you, Colin. We're working with the white heat of technology here. And in fact, so fast is that you heard the ding as it came in. I'm gonna pop it straight onto the screen. Now look at that. There is the alluring path down to Colin's swimming pool and the Atlantic beyond. Look at that. You can swim in his pool and see the sea from there, overlooking beautiful Ericeira. How wonderful. Thanks, Colin. That's what we're talking about. 913-590-303. And Anola, bon dia, alegria, Paul and Louise. We were talking about you yesterday. We had our gardening Q&A planning meeting yesterday, Louise. Thank you for sending your patch that needs a bit of trimming. Couldn't resist that, sorry. I'll make myself giggle at this rate. But yes, that needs some work on it, doesn't it? Wow, I remember when we were a community of just a few hundred. I never joined, but always tried to make the man cave. Wow. Okay, so you went. This is. Were you with Expats Portugal back in the day when soon after Simon founded it in 2005? DR. I mean, can we call you something else other than DR3W79 or Doctor 3W79? But we'll go with that for now. Just call you Doctor for short. Although that's confusing. We've got the Doc tomorrow. Doc has sent me an extraordinary presentation. He's not at all happy about the UK-Portugal amber situation. And he's got a little presentation to share tomorrow on Ask Anything About Portugal. That's Doc's residency tomorrow. Fabulous presentation he's put together. Taking it down with the science. Who else but the Doc is the man to do that? But yeah, here we go. The Doc, this other Doc, remembers when Expats Portugal was just a community of a few hundred. Amazing. Never joined then, but tries to make the man cave these days. It's changed. I'm not sure what the early people would think of the man cave. Like I say, it's the Marmite man cave. It's definitely not everyone's cup of tea. And it was a really awkward one last Friday. But that's what it's like. This is what Eric J said, who joins us on the screen from North Carolina. Sometimes down the pub, you do have evenings like that. Absolutely. Morning, folks, from Corrie. Good morning to you, Corrie. And tell us more about your band, Corrie, and share some music with us this morning, why don't you? Bon dia todos. Hot and humid summer has arrived in Atlanta. Cat on a hot tin roof type of humidity, I suspect there. Victoria, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Great to have you here. Joao Gloria. Oh, yes, Joao. Yesterday, you were a champion, recognizing and helping me recognize some of those pics of Portugal. They're all coming in. Hear them. Can you hear those pics coming in, folks? Bon dia de manhã. And a good morning. Tapa de morning, it sounds like in Portuguese there. Fantastic. Thank you, Joao, for your help yesterday. And thank you for your greeting this morning. Jacqueline's here. Donna Jacqueline. Good. The morning glory is blooming bright. Yes, the purple one, right? I can see it from my window too. A few windows along. Jacqueline, it looks as if it will be full on very soon. Yes, the whole of that ridge there covered in purple morning glory. Fantastic. Quite a lot of innuendo this morning. Sandra Marks Webster. Bon dia, Carl. Do sitio. Tell us more about sitio, if you will, please, Sandra. Got a photo. That's the other thing. Remember, the I've just seen your comment, Stephen. Pedrogo Pequeno this morning. Fantastic. Who are you? Sounding like a football chant this morning. I can't. Sometimes with WhatsApp, you get the number, don't you? But you don't get the name, or I haven't made the correct addition to my address book. So bless you. This person near Certa, who I probably know, but just can't place just now, has sent a glorious, blazing, sunny picture, which is fabulous, and we're gonna show you that as well. Now I'm loving this. This is well, you know, you may have noticed that we do make the odd feature up as we go along. Guilty as charged. And you got to admit, this isn't a bad one. Although I'm talking too much and not concentrating on downloading things correctly. Let me just get this Certa sun for you. The weather is looking rather good. I think it can be said in Certa this morning. Check this sunshine out. For those of you who aren't having such a bright day today, put your sunglasses on for this. You need sunglasses for this picture. Look, there's Certa this morning. Great part of the world. Absolutely brilliant part of the world. And let me tell you what the caption is that came with it. The caption from our wonderful correspondent in Certa is Pedrogo Pequeno. Pedrogan Pequeno. Fantastic Sunday market there, I have to say. The mattock that I had in my hand on Sunday whilst doing a bit of work around the homestead was bought at that very market at Pedrogan Pequeno. Beautiful market on a Sunday. And another one just come in. Fantastic. Thank you, Paul and Louise. This is very beautiful. The view from the balcony. Just missed the bumblebee nesting in the hollyhock, or taking a little breather in the hollyhock. That's coming up as well. Thank you, Louise. Fantastic. These pictures are fabulous this morning. This is lovely for people to see. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate those of you who are, appreciate you all. You know that. But here's another picture incoming where the bumblebee has just left the building. It's Hollyhock building in this case. Thanks, Paul and Louise. From this, do remind us which part of Portugal is this? Isn't that beautiful? Fantastic. I'll take that caption down just so it's not misleading. But that is really lovely. You've got quite a horizon there, Louise, but we're focusing on the hollyhock there. Absolutely beautiful. From your balcony this morning, I can smell that landscape. I can feel the heat already, and I can smell that central Portugal landscape. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. That's absolutely brilliant this morning. Okay, and yes, that's the number 913-590-303. And of course, yes, for sending messages too. That would be great to get voice messages via that. Don't have to be done straight away. If something comes up during the day, put my number on your WhatsApp. If you think of something like, Carl, I'm in Braga today, you got to get here, mate. It's fantastic. Here's a couple of pics. Messages like that, absolutely welcome here. Back to your comments. And this just in. What a load of codswallop you talk. Keep it up. Thank you, Stephen. Anna Olsen, bon dia. Stockholm tuning in. Bring on the pics. We've done it. Send us a picture of Stockholm, Anna, this morning, if you will. Yes, tobacco. Grows well here. Perfectly legal to grow your own. Just not on. Yeah, that was my thought, actually, Fiona. Is it, there are certain plants that it's not legal to grow, despite their legendary medicinal qualities, as we discussed only a few days ago. Just with Dan, that was a great episode, still in YouTube. Just not allowed to process and sell without licenses. Fair enough, I guess. If at your farm store at the end of your track you're selling handmade cigarettes, it would look a bit odd, wouldn't it? And I think you would want a little bit of oversight and compliance on that. Who knows what might be in those things? Just not allowed to process. But we're all grown. I don't know. We're just not allowed to process and sell without licenses. This will be our first year trying it, but fantastic learning process, all towards self-sufficiency. Anyone want some plants? Roll up, get your plants here at Fiona Worrell's place. Yeah, put the link in by all means, Fiona. Always happy then. Very glad of your contributions to our Happy Homesteaders group and the Q&A that we have on a Monday. How's that no dig situation going for you? Check Fee-Witched Herbs and more, and she will put the comment, the link to that in the comments very soon. Carl, house not yet. I keep saying, is this the one? Disappointment. Never as described. Oh, okay. So you're being a little bit let down, are you, by some of the descriptions and the photography? It happens, Paul, doesn't it? It happens. I bet you're seeing some hilarious photos and descriptions as well. Do send those to us as well, like a bit of a giggle with those. What's this? What's all this French business going on here? I've got a feeling this might be one of those get-rich-quick schemes or something, or a way to avoid curses or something like that, or a way to miraculously recover from any medical condition. I'm afraid I'm going to have to block you taking up or spamming us like that. I've given you a little moment there to share yourself. That user block now, folks, because we've got more important things to talk about than a load of random promises like that, I think. Bon dia, alegria, Mr. M. Good morning to you, Mr. A. It makes us sound like a couple of operatives gone rogue in Portugal. Mr. M. You know you enjoy Portugal as much as I do, Mr. A. Jacqueline, CDM, yeah, more music, please. I'm looking for a singing teacher who can teach an old bird new tricks. Now that is a movie. I do think in quite filmic terms about life, and I can see a story unfolding there. And I think that's an unfair description. I'm sure it is. The old bird, new tricks, but the story of a woman who goes to live in Portugal and takes on a singing teacher, and there'll be a tension there, won't there? There'll be a crotchety old singing teacher who says, "No, oh, more like this from the belly," and then you'll be crying and you'll be laughing, and then it will lead towards the concert, and it'll be a bit like Eat, Love, Pray. If I've got that round the right way, pray, love, eat, love, pray, eat, love, mixed with Little Voice, maybe, because that was a great movie, wasn't it? So I'll give you a call after the show and we'll sign up the film rights for that presently, Jacqueline. Great story. And if anyone knows a singing teacher in the Silver Coast area, there you go. I wouldn't mind learning to sing, actually, like properly. I love singing, and I love singing in the shower. But it's another step altogether, isn't it, to take on the discipline and the framework and the teaching like that. Anyway, Tamara say, hey, Tamara, good morning from beautiful sunny France. Can you elaborate on the plan? Yes, I will get around to that in just a moment. Sorry. Can you elaborate on the plan for the 14th and 28th? Well, if you've got to go out tomorrow, I will do that as soon as possible. Arriving in Portugal on the 29th. Okay, so you'll just sail in, swan in when everything's all sorted out. That's good timing. How are the vaccines going there? I think, like many countries, lowering the age group, texting people, all of that, it's all going on. France is stepping it up, says Tamara. I think it's similar here as well, Tamara. Not something I know a great deal about, I have to say. Susan Renshaw, morning, Carl, but happy for others to comment about their progress and what's going on with the vaccines in the comments. Came in late and missed how to send a photo. Can you repeat it, please? No, sorry, Susan, you missed your opportunity. Only kidding. 913 590 303. Not just weather pictures. I'd love to get a picture from you, Susan, this morning, but voice messages, also very funny, potentially, and laying myself open. Because sometimes I just play them and I haven't even listened to them. Can you imagine the trouble that might cause? And some of you more mischievous folks are thinking about the trouble you could cause with that. So 913 590 303. Just pop it in your WhatsApp. You never know when you might need it. Bon dia from sunny Greenwich this morning from Capricorn 12. Very astrological themes in the air, but still no substitute for the sunny Algarve. Greenwich, legendary. There's a place of great history and import for the world. Greenwich of the GMT, of course. Fiona Worrell tobacco, of course, used for magical witchy practices. Ooh, as well as for smoking. The variety we have is Virginia. Of course it is. That's what I was synonymous with tobacco, isn't it? Virginia. Vacina para a COVID-19. Our local Centro de Salud sent a taxi. What? With a request for Louise to attend for. They're sending taxis out today. In Portugal right now. Great service and signs that the vaccination program is in a vamos situation. So there you go. It must be Paul, I think, sending these messages in answer to you. Who was that asking about that? Tamara, there you go. Carl, the relationship between England and Portugal is back to 11, not 14, get back 14 to 1147 when the Crusaders helped King Alfonso capture Lisbon from the Muslims. We will have to ask Diane. Oh, you're a brave man, Pete Bleach. Ask Diane what that was like. I didn't say it, Diane. Pete said it. Gary Austin, up at 5 a.m. as usual. Ready to go to work? Putting two shoes on of different style, Karen. Kitchen towels up in the now. Finished and happy boy now. Annex, possibly. Is that? Annex, yeah. The kitchen towels are up in the annex, everybody, over there in Alviagra. Fiona's put her comment in, her link in the comments to Fee Witch Turbs. Congratulations, Gary. It's always very satisfying, isn't it? I made a little sort of kennel / I didn't make a kennel. I made a dog run at the weekend. It was good to get the tools out and the satisfaction of completing the job. Going out, leisurely little wander around. I think I sent you, Gary, a picture from Leroy Merlin, didn't I? And saying, you don't get this back at Wickes in the UK. There it was. Done my shopping in Leroy's. And hands covered in splinters from all that rough, tannalized wood. Thought I'd treat myself to a Mare de Lait and a big bottle of water because it was getting hot. There I was, stood at the cafe bar there, inside the DIY shop. So civilized, so excellent. Hold on a minute. Cyborg Entertainment are here, everybody. Karaoke production. Talking of singing. How's it from Omolanga, South Africa? We can teach you to sing, Jacqueline Candelas Delmont, even in Portuguese. Now, there's a great offer. All you have to do is ask. And then a few comments later, in comes an offer. And yes, please, she says, thanks, Cyborg Entertainment. You do that online then, I guess. And why not? Yes, because we've spoken before, haven't we? You're going to have to come on the show. Sorry. Should we book you in for next Tuesday at Cyborg Entertainment? Why don't you come in and join us next Tuesday? And we'll talk about how you teach people Portuguese by teaching them Portuguese songs. Let's do it. Let me know if you're up for that. And do email me, carl@expatsportugal.com. Yes, please. I'm up for the film rights. It's going to be great, Jacqueline. It's going to be great. The location's great. The food's going to be fantastic. We have a project on our hands now. We have a Silver Coast choir group run by Fred Young here in Obidos. It's getting better by the comments, this whole singing thing. And that choir needs to be in the film, of course, as well, Jacqueline Branco. Jacqueline, you've been very quiet about your new enterprise. You're very welcome to talk about it in the comments. Please do. You're on form this morning, Carl. Must be. Yes, it's the coffee. Mrs. M, can I have one of these every morning? It's working. Must be that special coffee your good lady makes. It's true. He isn't up and running again yet. Soon, hopefully. Who is that? Is that the mention of Fred Young, I wonder, or a different thing? Or Spielberg are we talking about there? I'm glad the cafe has reopened in Leroy Merlin. Carl, you should pronounce Leroy as the French do, though. Okay, I'm always open to a bit of coaching. It is not Leroy, as we might say in England, is it? It is Leroy. Is it? I am going to the DIY store known as Leroy. Is that better, Max? Probably don't have to do the whole hello thing, do I? Good morning from Leroy's, Leroy Merlin this morning. It's much easier to say Wix. It's not Leroy. Okay, got that. But that's what us British expats call it, for better or for worse. Just pop it down Leroy's to get a few 2B4s and a few, angle straps. Talking of witches, why were we brought up to fear witches and not the people who burn them alive? Asks a very intelligent Susan Renshaw there. I'll leave that in comments for you to. It's a good question. I think fear. Something that we haven't put behind us, it would appear. Fear does cause us human beings to do the most awful things and allows us to be manipulated. I came across, actually, no, I'm not going to do that right now. I might come back to it, but yes, thumbs up for the Leroy Merlin. Thank you, Max. Last comment for the time being, because we do need to talk about these articles. 1:30 already. The Silver Coast Choir Group, sadly, on hold. Okay, due to the pandemic. Yeah, of course. Can you imagine at the height of pandemic, people standing in rows singing their hearts out, and the germs flying everywhere. Great way to build up your immunity. I used to be in a choir myself in Totnes in Devon. Shout out to anyone who was in the glorious chorus whose chances I ruined for one term. But when possible, they will be singing again. That's great, Jacqueline Branco. Thank you for that. A special shout out to Helen. What was she called? Helen, can't remember. Not that Helen. Helen, the choir leader. She'd come up, you'd be singing, and she'd come and stand in front of you, your bit of the choir, and go, like, who's that? Who's flat here? Bon dia. Please, let's hold the comments for a minute. Bon dia to all from a little overcast, cold rain in Northern Ireland. Can't wait until our Portuguese adventure starts in November. Fantastic, William. Fingers crossed for a smooth transition with all of that, mate. And going to Continent later today. And I see if Thursday's wine. Shall I get some extra bottles? Yes, always, Gary. I have to go to Leiria in the next couple of days. If Doc, you or Frank want to have lunch somewhere. Look at this, lunch invitations in the comments as well. It doesn't get better. Fantastic. I could be very busy, couldn't I? Lunching mainly. Okay. As promised. Hola, bon dia. Yes, as promised, this morning, the Portuguese pandemic pushback. Let's go to the first of these articles where a Portugal minister, we'll find out who they are in just a moment, has pushed back on the Spanish border. Hold on a minute. My sharing software is not very happy. Oh, I think we've had some more pictures as well, which is fantastic. We'll come back to those. But let me see if I can share this border business. Portugal says Spain requiring COVID-19 test at the border is a mistake. We go to Yahoo News for this, okay? Then hopefully it won't start up loads of videos while I'm trying to read from it, or expose too much my buying habits with carefully selected advertising. What's it trying to sell me here? Together we can fill their fridge. Okay, that's better. Yeah, bit of charity. That shows me in a good light, doesn't it? And Buddy Boss. Yes, I was looking at Buddy Boss as well. This is annoying, isn't it? And potentially embarrassing. Okay, so here we are. Here we have on the screen a rather ebullient looking hold on a minute. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov meets his Portuguese counterpart Augusto Santos Silva in Moscow. I've got to say, I don't know which one of them that is, to my embarrassment. I think it's going to be Augusto Santos Silva because the story is about him. Lisbon, Reuters, Dateline, when was this? 7th of June, yesterday's news. Portugal's foreign minister said Spain's decision to require a negative COVID-19 test for people crossing the border must have been an error. Lusa news agency reported on Monday. Portugal had asked Spanish authorities for clarification. I love this. This is real sort of diplomacy going on in the putting forth of a certain turn of phrase. It was what could only have been a mistake. Portugal's foreign minister Augusto Santos Silva said, "We've asked Spanish authorities for clarification and await it being granted as quickly as possible, because if not, we will need to adopt equivalent reciprocal measures," Santos Silva said, adding that the epidemiological situation in Spain is, at the moment, worse than what we're living in Portugal. Similar, there's a theme here, right? So this is what the Portuguese think about the Brits' decision as well, which I'll come to in just a moment. The land border between the two Iberian nations reopened on May the 1st after 3 months of restrictions and checks, providing relief to local tourist hotspots. Currently, Spain requires air travellers to be tested or vaccinated. Or is it both? I don't know, but because these things change, don't they? But let's go with that, tested or vaccinated. While Portugal requires a negative test from travellers from Spain. But neither country had required tests for people crossing the border by land, which is interesting. And why is that, do you think? Are people who fly more? I suppose that you're bringing in possible variants from further afield. Is that the thinking behind that? I'll ask the doc tomorrow. I won't read the whole thing, but just give you a gist of this and you know, to assert the Portuguese position here. A Spanish health ministry spokesperson said people crossing the border would be obliged to carry health documentation in the same way that a driver is expected to have their vehicle's papers in case of sporadic checks. So it's not going to be everybody, it's sporadic, possibly. The protocol is exactly the same as that applied to Spain's other border with northern neighbour France, the spokesperson said, adding that cross-border workers and transport sector employees would be exempt. Okay, so there are some exemptions anyway for those regular travellers who need to come to and from to and fro across the border. So there you go. So that's Portugal kind of flexing up to. I didn't even put it on the screen. I'm so sorry, but there's the picture of the man I just spoke about. I believe that to be Augusto Santos Silva in Moscow when he met with Sergei Lavrov there. But in this particular news article that I just shared with you, stepping up, squaring up to the Spanish and questioning their policy. So anything about that in the comments so far? They have resources at the land borders to check or demand PCR tests in the way airports do. So it's doable, but I just think that Portugal are questioning the vaccination certification rather just a decent test there, Max, is what I think it is. Confusing times. Sitting in an aircraft, breathing recycled air is more hazardous. There you go. So that's why it's more stringent at the airports. They simply don't have the resources to check at land borders. Sorry for typos. Okay, so we've got it now. And a bon dia, Joel, rolling in. He's like that kid, isn't he, at school, you know, comes in when he feels like it, just skulks in at the back of the class. Bon dia, miss. Lads, that lunch sounds like a man cave spin-off. It has been spoken about, Stephen, and I'm hoping you'll join us on that one of these days. Lads that lunch. We would so like to call ourselves lads. It is affectionate and rather what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but it's not exactly true. But it's it's a nice affirmation for us to call ourselves lads anyway. So onward then to the other article I would like to share with you. Get rid of that one and share with you now from the Portugal resident, a bit of reporting, I suspect, from Natasha Don here. Portuguese PM says he hopes British government are aware of serious damage. So we're not happy about this, us Portuguese people, us here in Portugal, us residents. I mean, there is no grounds for it, apparently, as we'll find out from the doc tomorrow, who's taking this to task specifically with a presentation. Okay, so join us for that. Asking, he will take other questions, of course, as he does from his medico-political angle that is uniquely the doc and Andy Thompson. Hold on, I'll go have a sip of this coffee whilst I show you a rather dashing picture of our Prime Minister here, sporting his República Portuguesa mask and jauntily worn scarf. That probably is him in springtime. Portuguese people wear scarves in springtime. Oh no! Oh no! That's embarrassing. Yikes. We've all been there, have we not? Luckily, I'm on a small screen at the moment, but I got to that bit of the coffee. Boiled milk. I honestly don't know whether or not, because I can't see a big picture of myself, and I don't want to share it with you on the screen, whether I have a skin of scorched milk now stuck to my moustache. Luckily, it wasn't too hot, because that could have been even more difficult. Anyway, Hola Bon Dia Jersey says, Spain allows vaccinated Americans to visit now. I hope Portugal will follow. Interesting. Okay. That's good to know. That might be becoming easier here, Jersey, with that, keeping an eye on the situation, as I'm sure many North Americans are. Any more quizzes for Joel to get some practice? Yeah, Gary, he was rubbish, wasn't he, yesterday? I hope he's been brushing up on his Portuguese geography. We're mates. We rib him. He takes it. He's a good man. It's all part of the man cave banter, everybody. Don't worry. So let's have a look at this article now. I've promised before, haven't I, not to call them stories. It's not like once upon a time the Portuguese PM said he hoped British government was aware of serious damage and they all lived happily ever after. Far from it so far. So the damage inflicted on citizens here in Portugal. Prime Minister, this is a couple of days old, but I think worthy of inclusion. Prime Minister Antonio Costa has addressed the implications of the decision by the British government to remove Portugal from its green list for quarantine-free travel, saying he hoped the executive is aware of the serious damage it has inflicted on citizens here, and its own. Is it its own citizens? It's got to be both, isn't it? It's damage on those who just deserve a holiday, right? And a let up. You get the gist of how I feel about this, but also the damage it's causing, of course, to Portugal in the lack of tourism dollar, euro. On an official visit to Madeira, Lusa reports that Mr. Costa admitted that British ministers are less aware of the harm the decision has caused the Portuguese economy, but he hoped, on Portuguese citizens, but he hoped they understood the serious damages caused to the freedom of their countrymen. Okay, so not just Portugal. Finally, we're there. The damage to all. Okay. The serious damages caused to the freedom of their countrymen and women's freedom to circulate. That's an unusual comment. It's true, but it's kind of unusual, isn't it? I mean, is he making a feminist statement there about going to... I'd never seen the feminist angle on that. At a time... Okay, I think it's how it's written and reported. Countrymen and women, not specifically women there. At a time when Europe is opening up with the support of vaccination programs and PCR testing, the UK has effectively banned its citizens from visiting any European destination, and on grounds that no one outside of the British government seems able to understand. I think that's fair. Although banning is not right, is it? I mean, I think that there are exemptions, exceptions, and measures to go through. So banning is a harsh, but I do understand the emotion in this. Mr. Costa reiterated the narrative coming out of Portugal since Thursday that the measure taken by the UK in brackets, is not in any way justified. But he also sought to distance Portugal a little from the extraordinarily close relationship, particularly with regards to tourism, that the two countries have enjoyed for so many years, centuries, we might add, me and Pete Bleach and Diane. Speaking only hours ahead of British Health Minister Matt Hancock revealing that Boris Johnson's government may well not open up the country on the magic day of 21st of June. Isn't it? They were foolish to call it a magic day, weren't they? Or anyone was. As previously just suggested, Mr. Costa said Portugal has to stop relying on its British tourist market. And that is true as well, isn't it? Painfully exposed in these last 2 years, really. I hope something is learned and adapted, evolved from with that. Last paragraph from this. The crisis has demonstrated the fragility of some of the most robust, most promising economic sectors. They're not that robust, are they? If this is what can so easily happen. But anyway, the crisis has demonstrated the fragility of some of the most robust, most promising economic sectors that were areas of natural specialization in many regions. This is the case of tourism, he said. This shows us more and more for the future that we cannot depend so much and solely on one economic sector. Well said, sir. We have to have the capacity to develop, to bring other economic sectors forwards, because new crises will come, and we cannot be so fragilized in the face of these crises as we have seen this time. Okay, I've got to sneak this as well. It doesn't mean, of course, that Portugal will ease away from its focus on the British market, but it has to find new markets beyond those that are traditional. I think there are other factors here. I mean, one of the problems is that it's this short break holidaying, isn't it? That makes it so fragile. I think there's a lot of mileage in the encouragement of British and all sorts of visitors, tourists, longer stay people. Come for a month, come on tour, discover Portugal over a longer term. Think about living here. Okay, that to me is where Portugal might look. At the risk of stirring up that hornet's nest. But I don't know what you think about that. Britons have lost their liberty. It's heartbreaking to see freedoms removed, says Max Flight. William Ogilvy says, well said, the Portuguese Prime Minister. Absolutely. That's what, that's why I'm calling it the Portuguese pushback. I think the positioning has been good. Hola, bom dia, mana. Tudo bem? And there is no way Britons will be traveling anywhere this summer. You need to read the comments by George Eustace. Yeah, I did see some of that this morning. I tuned into Talk Radio this morning, Max. That you can tell, can't you? This is the way of modern politics. There aren't many strong figures, are there, who are prepared to tell it like it is. It's all kind of posturing, gesturing. Let's leak something out, see how the people respond. Let's confuse them with loads of information. And then they start blaming themselves for what's going on. We some strength in leadership is definitely needed, and that's not what's happening in many places around the world. As I said, that's modern politics for you in many ways, isn't it? Confusion and fear based, I see as well, yeah, that they are warming people up, I think, for delays, certainly in the UK. Gary adding, if Boris keeps Brits at home, then the economy will surge. That's part of a suspicion, isn't it? A tactic here. The economy will surge, and then the government can say how good we are. Look how good we are, and the economy is booming with all the staycationing. So cynical, Gary. Probably so true. Bon dia all from Andrew. Morning, Andrew. How are you? It's a bon dia from you. Your friend has brown hair today. Tomorrow they dye it blonde. You will still recognize your friend. This is how vaccines work. I'm not sure I understand that. Okay. Well said, Carl. Well said. I'm not sure to which bit, but is there that nature of modern politics? Gemini Bradshaw, I find medical bills very expensive. Although we are registered with a doctor, we normally pay privately because it takes a long time to get clinical appointments, says Gemini Bradshaw. That might be an answer to a question that I missed. Possibly, or general comment from Gemini there. Capricorn, tell us more, because I'm very interested in any sort of metaphors and theories. I do. That's how I love to learn, and I like to spin a metaphor myself, as you may have noticed. So tell us more about that. Exactly that, Gary. Round of applause from Jacqueline CDM. It is pretty smart. You can imagine Boris being presented with a number of options. The economy one. Let's pick the economy one. We'll go with that. Yes, we'll look great. Paul Richards, we are the tests for short breaks killing the tourist trade. Families simply cannot afford the cost. I heard one story this morning. The flight from which, I think has to be said, was too low. This is part of the precariousness, wasn't it? 30 quid flights, that can't be realistic. That must be being subsidized in a way that's very vulnerable. But 30 euros, fair enough, to fly back from Portugal to UK one day. The government put the country back on the amber list. 430 the next day. Some rampant profiteering going on. That's the capitalist world we live in, of course, and you can understand why they've made hay while the sun shines, while they've had a terrible 18 months at the airlines, who are also on the edge. But who can do that? Not everyone can manage a hike of that kind, plus all the testing, plus all the stress, right? You come away on holiday for a bit of relief and a break and stress-free week or two. And then you've got to think, do I need to book in the test now or then, or what am I? It's all so stressful. You freeze, no voice. Oh, I'm frozen up maybe there. I think it was when I was sipping my coffee and nearly burning my top lip off, or having a piece of boiled milk skin hanging draped like a 70s curtain from the upper lip there. Do you recognize the party line strong and stable economy? I remember that one. Yes. Yes, we do. Worked well, didn't it? And let's not get too Brit-centric here, folks. Cryptic comments, eh? The blue dogs fly at dawn and all that. Yeah, I like that. I'm very intrigued by that. Unless you know how the Times classifieds were used to convey messages from spies, which is what I think you're talking about there, Gary. You know, in a Le Carre novel, maybe this is what's happening here. People are putting comments, communicating across national and political boundaries. Your friend has brown hair today. Tomorrow they dye it blonde. That's our operative speaking out from Portugal there. Okay, so finally then this morning, as we are at 9:50, all of a sudden, I just don't understand how that happens. It's the Portuguese time machine or something like that. For me, time flies when you're having fun, for sure, and that's part of it. But let me just finish then today with this from wonderful authoritative reference that is Safe Communities Portugal. Does anyone remember my interview with David from David MBE from Safe Communities Portugal all those months ago at the beginning of the first wave? Quite incredible. We've come a long way since then, everyone. Well done. And we will have a look now at David's organisation and how they've articulated what's happening on the 14th and 28th. Made you wait for this tomorrow. I do beg your pardon, but here it is now. So this is all to do with the resolution of the Council of Ministers here in Portugal. I won't go into all the reference numbers. I'm going to scroll all the way down to June the 14th. There's loads of it. If you go to this, shall I put this in the comments for you? I think that's a good idea, actually. And I will come back to the most recent pictures that were sent in. Thank you for those on WhatsApp. So if you want to look at this yourself, there it is in the comments there now. Safecommunitiesportugal.com. You can find it just by going to safecommunitiesportugal.com. They got a hell of a lot of information on there, it has to be said. An incredible service that they provide. Let me read some of it for you now. They go into all the specifics that are rather sort of bureaucratic. But then phase one, this is what is anticipated for June the 14th here in Portugal. Telework is no longer mandatory, but being, however, when activities allow. I don't understand that straight away. I don't understand that, but let's go with telework no longer being mandatory. Restaurants, cafes, and patisseries. Indoor, maximum of 6 people per group. On terraces, maximum 10 people per group. This is good for Portuguese family life. Until midnight for admission and closing at 1. Isn't that good? Last orders at midnight and closing at 1 o'clock. That's so generous and leisurely. Cultural facilities are allowed open till midnight as well for opening and closing at 1 o'clock, with a reduction in capacity of up to 50% in order to assure a free space between spectators, cohabitants within, exhibition and, I'm hesitant to say concert spaces. Let's see what they say about that. Events outside fixed venues of an artistic, les venue of an artistic nature with marked places, distance rules, and other specific rules defined by the General Directorate of Health. That's maybe lost something in translation, but let's keep going. Sports events with audiences at the training levels, okay, and in amateur competitions with marked places and distance rules defined by the DGS. Okay, so social distancing continues in sports venues with 33% of the capacity. It's these semicolons that are doing me up here. Outside sports venues with capacity and rules to be defined by the DGS. All deconcentrated public services except citizen shops are allowed without a prior appointment from the 14th. Weddings and baptisms will be allowed with 50% of capacity. Food and non-food retail trade operating accordingly with the respective licensing schedule. All stores and shopping centres with the respective licensing schedule. So they're happening again. I thought they were actually, but I guess at any scale and size now, or from the 14th. Collective transport without restriction of capacity when only seated places exist, restricted to 2/3 maximum occupancy when seating and standing exists. Taxis and TVDE with limited to the rear seats capacity. Again, that's an awkward translation, I'm sure. But from the 28th of June, recommended telework when activities allow. So telework's going to recommended if possible. And that's part of the new shape of the world, is it not? How many people have got used to teleworking? And I've been speaking to some people who've just been so delighted not to be again, and realizing what they were missing in being able to be with people in offices. I don't know what your experience might be of that. Sports events with public in professional or similar competitions with marked places. So let's just call that social distancing at sports events. Sports venues from the 28th of June with 33% of the capacity. Outside sports venues, again with the social distancing rules. Citizen shops, the Loja de Ciudad, you'll be able to go to them without an appointment again. That's going to be good news and a relief for some people from the 28th of June. Okay, public transport will have no restrictions from the 28th of June. This is making the most sense now. Taxis and TVD, other kind of private transport like that, limited to the rear seats capacity. That was the same as the 14th, was it not? And I don't really understand what it means. But if you wish to decipher further, go to this directive that's been decoded to some extent by Safe Communities Portugal. There you go. I hope that has been in some way helpful. But as we know, in these times, we struggle to find some absolute definitives, don't we? We really do. Let's go back to a few of your comments and, of course, those final pictures today. Thanks from Tamara. My pleasure. Sorry I had to wait for so long. There's the link for you to look yourself, of course, Tamara, and anyone else. Great show today, Carl, from Andy. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate that. Coronavirus. Have a great day, mate, in Bairrada. I was there briefly on Sunday. I love that place. I really do. I love where I am now. But it was lovely to be back momentarily in Bairrada on Sunday. Coronavirus mutates, but lives still a coronavirus, I think he means. Okay, so yes, the variants. It's like a change of hair color there from Capricorn 12. And it does sound like a spy name, of course, as well, doesn't it? Capricorn 12 has spoken in the comments. A mustache, I have a revolution to kickstart. Good cheers, Andrew. Keep us informed. Send pictures, please. 913-590-303. Have a great day, everyone, from Andrew to you all. Hi, Carl. The rules does that include mask exemption for attending these facilities? As I understand it, and they weren't mentioned there, were they, William? But masks are will no longer be necessary, I think, from the 14th. And some people are doing it from a few days or weeks ago. But masks, really, as I understand it, are only to be worn where social distancing is not possible. So I think people will continue to wear masks in the facilities. And where you don't wear a mask, except for your progress to the beach, this is why it's so complicated. But generally speaking, you're walking in the street and you're on your own, or in your car, and people have had the mickey taken out of them for understandable reasons. But they will have their reasons, and so we shouldn't mock or condemn or judge. But if you're walking down the street on your own and there's no one around, certainly within 2 meters of you, you don't have to wear a mask, as is my understanding. And that's giving way to a new culture, isn't it, of people assessing other people coming down the street. I carry my mask, and if there's no one around me, I don't wear it until I see someone coming towards me who's definitely a mask wearer and who might be somewhat disturbed by me not having one. So I'll pull my mask up or put it on. And then you'll be the others and you see them and you maybe give them a little nod and a wink. And they're the people who are like, we're not going to be too close to each other. We don't need to wear a mask right now. And you walk past each other with a little smile on your face. That's me anyway. And I wonder, that may cause ire among certain circles, but that's how I roll with it. And some people clearly are completely conditioned to wearing a mask at all times now, it would appear. I'm being sent a sign from Mrs. M. You may speak it as long as it's not swearing. Your coffee has been given an award today. It's added to my. I've still got this one. I had a moment where the burning skin was hanging from my moustache. But anyway, we're trying to be serious. Look at her. She's waltzing in with her dressing gown still on, trying to do a professional presentation here, and here she is. I wouldn't. No, I don't want you to go because then I'll look really bad. But I am torn. I have to say.
I will dress the occasion next time.
If you wouldn't mind putting on a ball gown when you. Yes, absolutely. But you have an announcement.
I was a bit disturbed coming into this room to hear you say people might be disgusted.
I'm in trouble, I think.
Find me without one.
Some people might.
Now, ask your audience. What do you think I might have thought there?
Oh, I see. I was talking about.
People might be disgusted to find me without one.
Okay, that's what happens if you don't have context, folks. You want to watch that problem you have with your colons could get messy like certain guy. Taxi. I'm still laughing about that. Now you mention it. Oh, okay, come on. Comments, pictures, let's do it. Bon dia, y'all, from Jules Blixem. Good morning to you. Gareth, hey Gareth. Hey there, Carl. Family finally made it through. And we're in Cartera. I thought I was going to say quarantine and in quarantine. So that's a chapter for your biography, isn't it? Quarantine in Cartera. All 6 of us watching the clock to begin explore. Oh, bless you. I hope we've brought you a little bit of relief and community this morning while you're all locked up together there, Gareth. But congratulations, fantastic news. Taxis are still only allowed to carry 2 passengers of any age, so no families at the moment. Perhaps larger taxis will be allowed more people. Now's the time to invest in a stretch limo if you're a taxi company. Music practice finished. We'll rewatch. Fantastic. What? Oh, guitar, I think that is, isn't it? With Vinny there, Vinny Vengeance. Carl, can you put the WhatsApp up on the notes? Yeah, of course I can. I would be delighted, certainly, to receive your pictures. There you go. 9135903303. She hold on a minute. We're going into the mask talk now. What have I opened up here? Don't wear a mask while swimming. Thanks, Jacqueline. A disturbed masky. That's what the person coming along the street there. Well done, making the show so enjoyable with only you talking. Who needs guests? Thank you, Colin. Yeah, I surprised myself, but it's not, is it? It's you as well, and people sending in their lovely photos. So it's not just me, but yeah, thank you for that. Same as you, Carl. I only wear a mask when I'm near someone else wearing one. Yeah, it's interesting that. Cheeky. I don't know why. And that's probably cheeky Mrs. M coming in. Thank you for mask clarification, Carl. Great. From William. Pleasure. Carl, don't take this wrong, but the Mrs. far better good-looking presenter than you. Yeah, even in a dressing gown. Maybe especially in a dressing gown. No, none taken whatsoever, Joel. I'll take that squarely on the chin, especially from you, my friend. What is this week's wine? Gary, help me, please. Or I should maybe just go to the... Actually, I invite everyone to sign up to the Good Morning Portugal food and wine. It's past 10 o'clock, folks, but I said I would show you the what other pictures came in, and I will. We'll do that before we go this morning. But I need to tell you, you can find out what the wine is by going to this group. This is our food and wine group. A lot of fun, and a lot of fun on a Thursday night. With our, you did ask yesterday, I think, Stephen, didn't you? Gary might still be here and might be able to oblige, basking in the glory of tiling his annex. But sign up, join our group. Friendly people. Frank's in there, often assessing people's signing up criteria. He's a bit of a snob like that, but like an anti-snob. Not a snob, but you know, he doesn't want it too snobby. So he's a, you know, what's that word? Inverted snobbery of foodie Frank there, and he hates me calling him a foodie. But that's where you can find out, Stephen. Let's see what else people have sent in. I think more are coming in. The Stockholm archipelago we have this morning. This is a beauty from Stockholm this morning. Thank you so much. This is from Anna, I think, isn't it, this morning? Let's download that and get that on the screen soonest. Beautiful. It's from Sweden. It's this morning. It's very, very it's literally Eurovision here this morning. Fantastic. Let me just bring that onto the screen, and you will see the archipelago. Archipelago. I'm going to go with. Because I can, and because I've confused myself so much with that, I don't really know. It's definitely an arc rather than an arch, archipelago, and I will get a phonetic pronunciation, I'm sure. But look at that, folks! Thank you so much for that, Anna. That is absolutely beautiful there. What is your caption? You say Stockholm. It's Stockholm this morning. It's Stockholm archipelago early this morning. Absolutely beautiful. Colin's sending in some more as well. Why? Oh yeah, this is a nice meme. I don't know if those are your dogs. Why are all the humans wearing muzzles? Because they didn't learn to sit and stay, says one dog to the other. Thanks for that, Colin. And that's love your show, says this person who has sent some graphs in. The facts don't support the UK ban. Absolutely, we'll see this tomorrow. Thank you very much. You didn't sign. Sorry, I do. I'm sure I know you, but the picture's so small on WhatsApp and I don't recognize you from your number. So please, folks, do sign your messages put myself back on screen there. So many screens open, so many wonderful contributions from all of you this morning. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And just very quickly tell you what's in store for the rest of the week here. So, as I said, the doc tomorrow with Ask Anything About Portugal, but he's doing a very splendid presentation for us tomorrow, saying why he thinks it's utter hooey, the British decision. And I think Gary's probably right. It's going to look good for Boris, isn't it? Boris is going to look great when he's got everybody staycationing and spending the money in the UK. And the economy will look like it's booming, but he will have caused no end of frustration and irritation and anxiety among people as well. Thursday, Places and Spaces Thursday. I've made the acquaintance of the most wonderful guest that I have for you on Thursday. She sent me loads of pictures already. She lives in Castelo Branco. And one thing she said to me about that, as people say, why, especially the young people apparently of Castelo Branco, we'll find out why they are so, well, I guess, you know, wherever you grow up and whenever you're a youngster or a teen, you're never happy about where you grow up. But you probably learn to love it. And I suspect that's the case, certainly with Castelo Branco. So we'll talk to Nina. She has a hot dog shop, everybody. And she has a beautiful dog, I think, that she adopted when she came to Portugal as well. She'll be with us on Thursday. And it's Philomena Friday. In fact, I think I might be able to play that for you right now. Let me see if that works. But Philomena Friday, the wonderful Philomena. Lots of love to you, Philomena, at the moment. And you'll be with us on Friday. And she's such fun to have with us in the virtual studio here, helping us with all aspects of Portuguese language and culture. Bit of this on Friday.
Philomena Friday.
I think that comes out all right, doesn't it? So one of those on Friday. Thank you, Owen.
Philomena Friday.
Would love to catch up with you, Owen, sometime soon. What a beautiful voice. There he is, full circle with the whole singing theme that came up. And yeah, you folks in South Africa, please, let's Cyborg Entertainment. Let's get you on next Tuesday and tell us how you help people learn to speak Portuguese by singing Portuguese karaoke. Absolutely fantastic. Johnny 50 is here. I'm new here. Is there a big anti-mask movement in Portugal? Well, that's a good question to end with. I would say no. I mean, there is certainly like there in many ways, like hopefully there is everywhere, you know, people questioning things, and that shouldn't be censored or driven underground. There have been freedom marches, and like everywhere else, I suppose, not very well reported by the mainstream media. But yeah, there are people who are questioning and challenging the narrative. Johnny 50, to answer your question there, have joined the group, could not see the event, but Gary stepped in manfully here. Garda Rios Gold Edition from Continent. There you go. That is it's sounding like a lot like a red. And Garda Rios, is that the name for a kingfisher as well, Gary? Did I notice? Because somebody posted up a beautiful picture of a kingfisher that had landed on their windowsill. If you're lucky, from where I'm from, you'll see a blue flash across the water, right? In the UK. Let's come and sit on your windowsill in Portugal. That's how friendly it is. Have to rewatch and find out, Johnny. I was late as well. Project Frugal. I've already answered that question, I think. I mean, there are groups, and we did feature the protest. My body, my choice protest that we had of somebody parking their camper van across. They made themselves very unpopular, but that's what protests can. That's what happens in protest, isn't it? Or can happen. And I forget her name now, forgive me, but she parked her camper van across the ferry port at Santander to bring her view on it to other people's attention and questioning the narrative. It does happen in Portugal, and although that was Spain, of course. Excuse me, just going to have a quick sip of coffee. I may be here talking alone for an hour, Colin, but I do need to have occasional sip of coffee. Okay, so we're going into this now as we finish. Masks don't work. Haven't worn one from day one, says JH. Corona is a big flu hoax. Numbers are all manipulated. Scientists are all paid and funded by those that are in control. Fear is generated by. And then it drifts off there. Oh, no, the media propaganda. Don't even get me started. I think we already got you started, JH, to be fair. Don't even get me started with the experimental jab. Rant over. Have no fear. Go out and enjoy yourselves. I don't take jabs, says JH. So we do share and present all views here. I am anti-mask, lockdown, and experimental shot. And Johnny 50 says, I am your subscriber. That sounds very Star Wars, doesn't it? Luke, I am your subscriber. On that note, on that very random note, and I wasn't expecting to do that at the end of the show today, I bid you farewell. Adieu. Beijinhos, abrazos, até já, até logo, and we'll see you tomorrow morning with the doc, with Andy Thompson, the doc, debunking big time the UK's move to put Portugal on the amber list. Have a great day, folks. Take care and bye for now. You've been amazing this morning. Sterling contributions. Keep those picks coming in. 913-590-303. Just trying to find the outro video. Oh, here it is. Ciao.